Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, your boy, he's on vacation right now. I had some pre-recorded videos, but we have to do some live videos, which is why you probably haven't seen Turbo. You probably haven't seen a Turbo video in 1 to 2 days, but we are going to be back right now, ladies and gentlemen. Right, the last few days I will be recording content just practically 1 day in advance, or maybe like 12 hours in advance, so everything's still going to be fairly fresh and still very, very relevant. But yeah, we are going to go back home in a couple of days, just outside the I'm still technically in the hotel, but in a very specific area where it's very nice patio, very nice view, very nice everything. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. The weather is absolutely fantastic. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want the fastest updates, I think you guys hear those birds, but if you guys do want the fastest updates, make sure to join the private community. You also get a portfolio review as well as many videos on how to trade. But look, let's just jump right into it. I haven't been keeping up with anything. I've been completely just offline for the last few days. Just been enjoying life, so I don't even know what's new, generally speaking. All right, Turbo, we can see, from what I see, there's not too many updates. There's just practically consistent memes for Turbo, which is what we love to see. Of course, as you guys know, Turbo has been smashing the industry for the last year and a half, 2 years now. So in terms of consistent updates, you're gonna get way less consistent updates, but you will get very, very high quality updates. Every time Turbo does something, it's either gonna be some next level collab you didn't expect, some next level innovation, or something very, very big, right? Something very, very big. And they are still ahead of so many meme coins, which is what I love about Turbo. Anyways, let's just jump right into Turbo's price action. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, that on the 4 hour, we have been trending now. Generally speaking, we have been trending down. We know from some time ago that we broke out of this trend line, and ever since this, we've practically been bearish. Sure, we have been sideways for some time. We can see we're kind of like consolidating, but we are also just consistently selling off. Pressure was very, very weak. We could see here in the purple box, if we mark this up, we were getting consistent lower and lower and lower and lower high closes. And once we kind of crashed below, we haven't really seen any lifelines and any signs of recoveries, right? Like at all, like completely at all. Right now, we are currently in a very narrow type of trend. And we can see we have been going down a lot. But here is the thing. We have been kind of slowing down momentum. We can see this is from June 12th. And this is, wow, the 21st. And even though we have been technically selling off, going sideways and selling off, momentum really has just been slow. Like crypto really generally has been slow over the last week. And we're kind of getting into this type of pattern right over here, where we can see that we are basically, looking to make a decision very, very soon, right? In my opinion, Turbo has to make a choice. Now, for me, this all depends mainly on Bitcoin. We know there have been war tensions, okay? There have been war tensions which have screwed things up. When we go over here, we could still see, yep, consistent lower highs. This was the only time, first of all, I want to say this was the only time where we have created some type of lifeline, right? Because we had this high over here, and we did create a higher high, but then we really needed this zone to hold. We really did, right? Because what we needed, right, if we actually draw this out to look kind of similar, we needed to go like this, the way we went lower, and then we went higher. We really needed something like this to go like this, right, to bounce off. Why? Because then it would create a reverse head and shoulders right over here, right? Head, shoulder, shoulder. And not only that, we would have the higher high, right? We'd have the higher high, and it would also have the higher low, right? This is the low, this previous low, this is the previous high, right? Very, very simple. So what I'm drawing out is practically the scenario that we needed to happen. We had the high, we had the higher high, right? But we never got, right? We had the low, but we never got the higher low, right? We literally never got the higher low we needed. We never got the reverse head and shoulders. In fact, the opposite happened where we just went lower. We did have one day of decent pumps, but we could see Turbo close terribly. Right? It just closed terribly. It closed down here when it went all the way up here. I mean, not even 50% of the buy pressure was left. It just seems like, we literally went up to just go lower, practically, right, instantly. And we can see, right, we have kind of just broke out of this zone as here as well, right? We can see we are kind of looking, right, but this is more accurate in my opinion, something like this. We can see that it's not convincing at all, right? There's no signs. There is zero signs right now of any type of reversal. It's looking a little rough. Clearly, we haven't been following global liquidity. All right, global liquidity suggested that something even like Bitcoin was going to be at 120K by maximum mid-June. And we could see Bitcoin is at $103,000, a little bit higher than that. But we can see Bitcoin also, this probably happened because of Bitcoin. But we can see, ladies and gentlemen, right, this thing has just not been ideal at all. Generally speaking, since the 17th to now, it's just kind of been going sideways. Yeah, we broke out a little bit here, but it was just a fake, right? We just took the liquidity out. Oops, I did not mean to do that. We just took the liquidity out. We took the liquidity out, we went up, and we just slammed lower. This does look very unhealthy overall, right? We're just consistently creating lower highs. I'm not a very big fan. We would need to see a huge momentum candle with Bitcoin to change momentum, right? And that's what would also change the momentum for something like Turbo, right? For something like Turbo, that's what would change the momentum. I know some people ask me, well, do we need more updates from Turbo? Will that make a difference? Not really. You have to remember, at the end of the day, that something like a update, right? Something like a update is good for the long term, right? Will it pump that extra 1%, that 2%, that 5%, that 50%, that 100%, 200%, right? How high will Turbo go is, ultimately down to a couple of factors. But when we're talking about pure fundamentals from Turbo, it all comes down to the updates, right? How many exchanges, how many innovations, how many collaborations, how many things have Turbo done right to where investors would rather put, instead of like, let's say a certain amount of million, they put a certain amount of tens of millions or hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, right? Or that's the ultimate question. So no, even if we got like Robinhood right now, Robinhood would not save the day. Right? People are asking me, would Robinhood save the day? Robinhood would not save the day. Not right now. Like literally worst case, if we would probably get a pump, I could guarantee you we would get a pump probably to somewhere up here or even a little bit higher. But then the way we would close would probably crash off instantly, right? If Robinhood did come in, we probably would go up to here, or maybe even take out this liquidity over here of 0.0042, but ultimately would probably just crash just as quick, and it would probably go back down, right? Robinhood would not save us. Now, would Robinhood make a difference long term? Yes, Robinhood would. I think Robinhood alone would probably get us, if Turbo's destiny was 10 billion market cap, then Robinhood alone would probably give us an extra 20%, at least. I would say like another 2 billion, maybe even more. The power of Robinhood is really, really high. It's like on the level of, Coinbase and Binance, and you can debate which ones are the best, right? You could debate. I'm not really here to do that, but you get the point of Robinhood. It's a big boy. It's like a top 3 boy. So yeah, so it would make a big difference. It really, really would. And obviously, Robinhood's a little bit different than Coinbase and Binance. The fact that Robinhood's already starting to list coins and other meme coins, that alone is going to pave the way for other, exchanges and sites like Robinhood to be listing cryptos, to be listing meme coins. I'm sure there's a bunch of other sites like Robinhood that are fairly big or even half as big that would still impact us very, very positively, right? And yeah, so getting that Robinhood listing would make a big difference or a very nice difference in the long run. Right now, that is not, the main factor. We could see, like I said, even Bitcoin was moving very, very extremely slow. And I don't expect things to change too much. We did have rate cuts. Rate cuts did not. Rate cuts were the same. I know rate cuts getting cut would be really bullish for us. It's staying the same. It's still technically bullish. It's just like it's a mini W instead of a massive W. The rate cuts going up. That's a L. That's not good. Ultimately, something like Turbo, I'm still optimistic about it, right? If we go to something like Coin Market Cap, right? Coin Market Cap, proceed anyway. Sure, you could be harmful for this laptop. I literally have no information on this laptop. I do not care. Boom, boom, boom. Turbo, right? We can see we're still rank 164, so we're holding, right? I don't remember the last time we were like rank 170 or lower. It must have been before that massive pump, right? In fact, we were almost top 300 at one point, which was scary. It was scary. And some of the coins we were comparing to, they already dropped to those levels and they have not recovered. Sure, we'll accept cookies on this. I don't really care. But yeah, we can see that we're ranked 164, ladies and gentlemen. 245 million market cap, 40 million volume. Damn, 40 million volume, 86% more than the other day. So volume has been very, very low, extremely low. Let's see how many people are, coming to Turbo. I believe we were around 55,700 roughly the last time I checked. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm hoping for 56,000. That would be very, very nice to see. But obviously, it is not up to us. It is up to what the people think. So we can see, yeah, so holders actually have dipped. Holders actually have dipped by, 130. Now, here's the deal. Every time I've seen the holders dip, okay, we literally actually do see some kind of resurgence in price shortly after that, or we just start seeing holders spike up again. Like we've had these moments of dips, right, where something dips by 100 to 200 holders and all of a sudden we just consistently go up or we start spiking up. So this is not really a concern for me. It's either, some of the whales are just, doing the manipulation, or some people are getting scared and they're just cashing out. For me, doesn't make a difference, right? It does not make a difference. I do think, though, if we are going to start seeing some movement, I guess we would start seeing movement probably towards the end of June or beginning of July, because we are ending the 3-month candle soon, right? We are ending the 3-month candle very, very soon, right? At the end of June, the 3-month candle ends, and I would really, really expect for price to start going up. I know I said that before, right? We were following global liquidity. Global liquidity clearly does not align perfectly the way we thought, at least in terms of the more micro moves. I will also say on the weekly, we have been losing lots and lots of momentum, right? We can see 3 weeks worth of, very green data has, has been eaten up a good amount. If we take it from the top, right? If we take it from the top to the bottom, right, we can see we're probably like eating up 65% of that nice big pump we have gotten, we have went back down. But it has taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks compared to 3 weeks worth of bullish candles, and we're only down 65% of that move. So it still tells me buyers are in control despite of what people are saying, and we're still holding very, very nice on this big support. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want the fastest updates, if you want a portfolio review, or if you simply want to get educated on how to trade in crypto, then make sure to join the community. Highly recommend it. Now is going to be the most crucial times. But that is it. Your boy is going to record another video or two. He's going to enjoy his vacation, and we'll be back on another day. Goodbye.